Well, welcome to episode 39 of the Realtor for Hoopers interview series. My name is Adam Kemp, the Realtor for Hoopers. Today's guest is a graduate of Regis High School and a man for his college career shot 44% from three. Nolan Ebel. Appreciate your time, man.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, man.
Every time I flick the wrist, you can bet that it's a switch. Realtor for Hoopers, welcome to the main event. I'ma give the people what they ask for. Whole squad moving like a task force. We move with military precision, accomplishing any mission. In 2020 division, just don't see no competition, don't see no opposition. We on top of the game, we not one and the same. I'm Stephen Curry, the range, I Allen out with the cross. I'm Kobe Bryant, the fade, I'm one that's calling the plays. Now what else more can I say?
All right, well, Nolan, the first question we start everyone off with is tell us your basketball story.
Yeah, I think my basketball story is a little bit unique. It was a lot of 180-degree turns and a lot of it was a little bit unorthodox compared to a lot of people's careers. So I started off at Regis High School, and I actually didn't start. I only started one game all of high school. I think people don't realize that. Then I was really fortunate. Augustana College took a chance on me in Illinois. Okay. Played 4 years there, and then
That's D2?
D3.
D3, okay.
Had a super fun career there. And then after graduation, signed with an agent, went and played over in Spain for a season. And then COVID hit and kind of changed plans and moved on.
So but like growing up was basketball kind of always a sport? Like, is that, or did you get into basketball late, or was that kind of always a thing and then you just kind of had the...
Yeah, good question. So actually John Wooden is in my bloodline. I think... Yeah, people don't know that either. That's a good guy to have in your bloodline. It's kind of distant, but yeah, so the Wooden family is kind of loosely connected to my family. So we're a huge basketball family. Okay. I grew up in Chicago up until 8th grade. Okay. So I feel like the Midwest culture is just surrounded around basketball, baseball, football. Okay. And for us, it was basketball. So it was my first love from as long as I can remember. And pretty much like every afternoon I was in the driveway just shooting all day. That's awesome. Yeah, so it was a big part of our family. Great.
Well, speaking of that, so you've had a lot of success and continue to have a lot of success playing basketball, but I would say you're a smaller guard. So talk to me about how like recruiting was and like what experience you've had with doubters along the way. What's that look like?
I think that's a great question. Yeah. And I think that's a lot to do with my story in general. Is along my whole basketball career and even to this day, I walk in the gym and I don't pass the eye test very well. I think a lot of people assume I can't play just based on how I look. And I think it's important, and I want people to look at my journey and be inspired, just because I think my whole basketball career and things outside of basketball is I really focus on just controlling what I can control. Yeah. And I think if you do things at the highest level possible with attitude, effort, and focus, you can maximize your potential.
Absolutely.
And that's really how I look at all of that is, I mean, you can focus on what people are saying about you or getting picked last or not starting, or you can focus on trying to get 1% better every day. And things will play out well if you do things at a high level. So that's really how I looked at everything. I was really fortunate. I didn't get a ton of looks out of high school because I was coming off the bench. But I played on a really good team, and Augustana took a chance on me, and thankfully things played out pretty well.
That's great. Yeah, I think you kind of saying where if you can just control your attitude and effort, it's one of those things that's easier said than done a lot of times. Yeah. But if you can build that habit and hone that habit, no matter what you're doing, whether if you're just trying to be a better friend to someone, like it's just gonna help you succeed in whatever you want. And it's like I said, it's easier said than done. So you have to kind of get a little bit better at it every day.
Yes.
Not letting the negative thing that happened to you affect your attitude for 3 hours. Let it affect it for 3 minutes and then move on. You know, like all those things, it can just help you. So
yeah, and I think that's really important too, just in general in life. Like one thing my college coach, who was pretty intense, he would always say like next play mentality. Yeah. And you know, sometimes you screw up, maybe somebody judges you off of the way you look. Yeah. and it doesn't feel good, obviously, but having a short memory, focusing on the next play, and moving forward quickly, I think is a skill that is really important.
Yeah, sure. So you graduated in college in 2019, right?
Yep.
So how did COVID affect your career? Like, because I mean, you're graduating and then COVID hits shortly after, and then so how did that affect post college?
I think that's a great question and something I want to talk about, because I think a lot of people look at my journey as, what could have been, and they're like, well, I signed with a great agent. I was really excited. Went to a good league in Spain. Things were looking really promising for my long-term career. And then COVID hits and you're like, all right, now what? and then everyone's like, oh, so you went and got a job. And then, they talk about it like it's a bad thing.
Yeah.
And really, I think just in life in general, you can choose to look at it that way, or you can look at all the things that fell positively in my direction. Like, I was the smallest kid, but a college team took a chance on me.
Yeah.
I was the 6th point guard on the depth chart going into freshman year of college, and then started as a sophomore and had some success. And all those things are really, really fortunate events that I'm super blessed and thankful for.
Yeah.
That, there's going to be negative things, and maybe COVID not happening would have changed things, but I'm just not the type of person to focus on those things.
Yeah.
And
it's all out of your perspective.
Again, it's out of your control, control what you can control.
That's awesome. Well, I'm glad that it didn't, because it could have been something where you could still to this day could be a lot more bitter about, and
for sure.
And I, it's kind of, I knew it affected a lot of players. So you get into that a little bit. So, something you do outside of basketball is you started competing in these Ironman races.
Yes.
So there's got to be a story of how you got into that. That's not, you don't hear college hooper, pro hooper, Ironman. Yep, that works. So what's the story of how you got into all that?
Yeah, so I think it starts with my basketball journey. Is I was really blessed to have this platform where kids could look at me, and I think there's a lot of people in life that place limitations on others.
Yeah.
And I loved having a platform that I could hopefully pull limitations off of others and say, hey, look at me. Maybe I look like this, or I'm, this type of player, but you can do anything.
Yep.
And so I was just thinking like, man, what could that next step be? And I found Ironman because I wasn't a great swimmer at all. I'd never really biked before, and I only ran for basketball training. I was like, all right, well, I'm starting from ground zero. If I can maybe...
Did you just see it online and was like, that looks cool, I'm going to try that? Or how, like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, what was the first like, idea spark?
There was this guy when I was in Chicago who was a really successful businessman. He was a great dad. He was a great person in the community, and I looked up to him a lot, and he just happened to do Ironmans. So that was the original inspiration. His name's Larry Geese. And that was the original inspiration. And then it turned into like, okay, how do I find still have a platform to inspire younger people who maybe aren't naturally gifted in certain areas. And then 2, how can I push myself to find my physical and mental maximum?
Okay.
And those 2 things kind of drew me to this sport because it's just a difficult sport, I think. And so it's been a really humbling journey. I think it's like starting to play basketball when you're 28 or 27. So I had to start from the bottom, and I mean, day 1, I swam to the end of the pool, got up, went home. Yeah. And now 2 years later, I've done a lot of races, and it's super fun.
That's so cool. All right. Well, I think you've competed in 6 races now? Yeah,
I've done 5 half Ironmans and 1 full Ironman.
Okay. So of those races, which Ironman race are you the most proud of? And why? It doesn't have to be the highest finish, obviously, just one that you're the most, like, I did my best there.
I think that it wouldn't be my fastest time. Okay. I think the race that I'm most proud of is the full Ironman in California in October. Okay. Just because when I set out on this journey, I was like, that's the goal. I want to do a full Ironman. It's 2.4 mile swim, 112 mile bike, and then a marathon. And
over what period of time?
1 day. So, you start and then you finish at some point. And so in the beginning, like I had that exact same mentality as like, this is unrealistic. I've got bad hips, you know, from basketball, and I'm in a lot of pain. And I quit. Like, that's the thing that people maybe don't realize is like, I quit 100 times. I'm like, I'm never doing this again.
Yeah.
And then the next day you just show up.
Yeah.
And I think that applies to a lot of aspects of life. And I've learned a lot about life through triathlon training, but that one was really special. My family was out there. It was a really long day, but it was a pretty beautiful moment at the end.
And I am proud for you. I wasn't even there. That's amazing. All right. Well, now we're going to go a little bit like I was going to be outside of athletics a little bit. So you're in medical sales. Mm-hmm. So tell me kind of what your role is, like what type of medical sales, if you're connected to a certain hospital, or and then after all that, maybe kind of just tell a cool story you have from being in hospitals as much as you are. I'm sure there's pretty cool ones out there.
Yeah, I think first off, I'm just very blessed to be around doctors every day that are helping people and living selfless lives, which is one of my goals too, is how can I make people's lives a little bit easier today? And I mean, these guys are doing that every single day. So I'm super fortunate to be around people like that. I do sports medicine, so mostly knees, hips, shoulders, and then some other small joint areas, just the devices that the surgeons use to help fix those problems.
So it's not the actual thing that's going inside someone's body, it's the tools they're using to do the surgery?
Good question. Okay. It's both. We do both. So everything from like the TV screen that they're looking at during surgery to the implant that fixes your ACL to everything along those lines. And so I'm in 33 accounts across Denver working with some of the surgeons. The majority of it, like I said, is knees, hips, and shoulders. I'm, again, just really fortunate. I think one cool story is that one of the guys I work with, Robin Dunn, fantastic surgeon in Denver. He does all the races with me, all the triathlons.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's great. And there was one cool story that one patient rolled in a wheelchair. They had torn both their quad tendons, and they couldn't walk. Oh. And it was kind of a rare case, but thankfully he's really talented, has great hands, and performed a pretty technical surgery to where the patient rolled in a wheelchair, couldn't walk, and then left walking. Wow. And it was just a beautiful moment. And then he followed up, and the patient's doing well and walking on their own. And I was like, even though I played a very small role in that, just the devices and the surgeon's hands that have the power nowadays to like go in and fix someone and allow them to walk is pretty special.
Yeah, all that is really like, you can either love or hate Western medicine and kind of like that whole world and all that, but doesn't matter how it happens, but when there's such a significant increase in a quality of life for the rest of that person's life, like those to me are why doctors are doctors and people like nurses are nurses, because I had a little bit of something but like, I don't know, a skin tag on my arm and you took the skin tag off. That's great, but like that wasn't going to be a massive change in your quality of life. This guy can't walk.
Yeah.
And not walking for the rest of your life is a lot different than being able to walk there. Even if you don't want to run, you don't need to jump, whatever. Just the fact that you can walk is amazing. So it is a really cool story.
And we're really fortunate in Denver to have some of the top sports medicine surgeons in the world. So it's just been inspiring. It's like, you know, going to the basketball court and seeing the best NBA players every day. It's inspiring and makes me want to be a better person.
That's cool. All right, so I've got a would you rather question here, so it's a little bit funner. So with this would you rather, you have your current game, okay? So you have your current game. So this, and you're just going to add this skill or add this thing, okay? Now, would you rather add Vince Carter's hops, or have Russell Westbrook's like height and build? But you have your current game.
Does that include Russell Westbrook's missed layups?
No, just his build, just his height and his build. Like just being able to be 6'4", put together, and have your current game. Or would you rather be your height now, your current game, but you can jump up?
I think that's a really tough question.
Yeah.
I think for me, being short wasn't as big of a limiting factor at the next level as athletic ability. So I had to work really hard to be able to dunk. I couldn't dunk until like sophomore year of college.
Which is still impressive.
So I would say Vince Carter's hops, just because I think you can get by with that. But I would like both. I think Russell Westbrook's build would be great. I was a lot bigger when I was in college and overseas.
Stronger,
but yeah, hops would be nice.
Yeah, I think it's surprising. Like I wanted to ask that question because there's obviously when you talk to a smaller guard, their classic line would be, well, if I was 6'4" or 6'6", I would be still playing or whatever.
Yeah.
So I wanted to see, because I do think if you have a certain amount of athletic ability, like that alone just helps you on every, like even if you're a shooter, being able to have that amount of athletic ability where you have that stamina on your legs and that quick tits you up higher and you can get off a little bit more about a jump shot because you're jumping a little bit higher and all that stuff. So,
I learned a lot about that when I was training to go overseas. There's a kid named DJ Carton. He's still in the G League, two-way NBA. And he was training with us. He's like my height, my build.
Yeah.
And I like closed out and I missed the closeout. And when I turned my back, he was dunking on me. And that was when I was like, all right, this next level is a little different than in college.
There are levels. There are levels to everything.
Yeah, so for sure.
All right, well, final two questions. Second to last question is, we've talked a lot about your story. Appreciate that and all that. But like, what is something you want to make sure that people take away from this conversation, take away from your story?
Yeah, I mean, the main thing I want people to take away when they look at me and my life, and whether it's Ironman or work or, basketball, is, like I said earlier, I think there's a lot of people that do things for selfish reasons and they want to say, well, I did it, so you can't do it. And I want my story, like I said, to pull limitations off of people. I want people to look at me and go, well, if he did an Ironman and couldn't swim, well, I can, and I can do it better than him. Or, maybe, he became an All-American in college, so then I can do that, and I'll be Player of the Year. And I want people to look at my story and be inspired, but also encouraged, because I don't do all this, and I don't train and work every day at these different aspects for myself. I want the little kid who's in the gym who has nobody to look up to see themselves in me.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to get across, is that you can do anything with attitude, effort, and focus and attention to detail at a high level, and setting massive goals and just dedicating yourself to it. So that's the main thing I want to get across. But I also just want to say, I think it's really cool what you're doing also, just in the community. I think we're really fortunate as a basketball space to have someone who's bringing everyone together, doing things like this, having parties, having runs, and just bringing the basketball community together, because I think that's something that we've been lacking. Yeah. And in Chicago, that was a huge thing,
Sure.
And so to have somebody who's bringing the community together in a positive way, and I think that's pretty special. So thank you.
Thank you. No, I think I do it because it's something that I would want to do outside of any business thing and all that. And so that was mainly the reason why I chose the whole Realtor for Hoopers brand. Is like, all I know is if I go with this brand, everything that I do, whether it's social media, emails, out in the world, they're just going to experience the authentic me.
Yeah.
Because I don't have to act like I'm this expert on this city or anything like that. I'm just going to be a hooper that happens to be a real estate agent, and then let's see what happens.
Yeah, totally.
Well, the final question is sometimes it's the hardest one because you can only pick one thing. What is your favorite thing about hoop?
Oh, man. Let's see how deep we want to go here.
You can go wherever deep.
I think for me, my favorite thing about it is, I think from being a little kid to now, having something that is consistent and always there for you. I think no matter the trials and tribulations of life, whether you're going through, in college, I spent lots and lots and lots of hours while other people were doing other things in the gym with my trainer, Jordan Delp, and Pure Sweat. And I think it's always there for you, and it gives you an outlet to pursue your dreams, but also just a space that never leaves and is steady in a life that there's a lot of ups and downs. There's a lot of things getting thrown at you, getting taken from you. The game has been my first love and something that has been my therapy through all the trials and tribulations of life. And I'm really thankful for that because it's just helped me in a lot of different aspects other than just achievement.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I align a lot with that. If I think back at like major points in my life where it was a hard time and I needed to get through it, or I had a big problem to solve and I couldn't figure it out, vast majority of times I found the solution was alone in a gym with a ball hitting shots, and I'm just thinking, and I'm just getting shots up and all that. So it is honestly the cheapest therapy that you could ever pay for, and it's amazing.
Absolutely, man.
All right, well, Nolan, and I appreciate the time. We're about to go get our team trick shot in right now, but I appreciate the time, Nolan. Thanks for telling your story.
Thanks for having me.
Every time I flick the wrist, you can bet that it's a switch. Realtor for hoopers, welcome to the main event.